Hi. If I look a little bit wide, it's just because I've just woken up. But I think about half hour ago. I wanted to make this video because I just got a text from my doctors with regards to my blood work, and they said that my cholesterol is higher. Now, a couple of things. There's a couple of disclaimers that I want to make before going in. The first disclaimer that I want to make is that I've been having blood tests for years now, 4 years. And this is literally the first time that my cholesterol has come up. First time, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is that my sleep and my diet have never been good. Okay. They have never been good. And even though I have been targeted to my mind for all of my life. I believe my targeting is intergenerational. The black people are dying like flies, but my targeting is intergenerational, right? So whilst I believe I've been targeted for all my life, I also acknowledge that if I am eating badly, and if I am not sleeping well, then I am contributing to what is going on. We can go ahead and split hairs about the different reasons why high cholesterol could exist in me at the moment. We could go into all the different reasons, and I will go into all the different reasons, but it doesn't remove personal responsibility when it comes to this issue. It really doesn't. Okay. It doesn't remove personal responsibility on my part. I do eat quite a bit of meat. My fruit and vegetable intake have improved. And what I notice is that when I feel better emotionally, I tend to eat better. And over time, because I've gotten used to the psychological abuse, I have been eating more fruit and more veg because I've become more numb to the psychological abuse and to the abuse in general. I've become more numb to it. So it has resulted in me eating better than I did when I was younger, but I still have a lot of improvements to make in that area. So gang stalking torture does not remove personal responsibility. I just want to put that out there. Personal responsibility does not cancel out gang stalking, and gang stalking does not cancel out personal responsibility. So those are my two disclaimers before we go into this. Okay. At the same time, I do want to talk about how gang stalking is contributing to this. Okay. Long story short, we have all seen videos of what happens to women who enter abusive relationships. Some of these women start out really looking really healthy. Their personal grooming is on point. Their homes are clean and tidy and all the rest of it. But then they get into relationships with these men and they end up being bloated. They end up having cortisol face like I do. They end up gaining weight. They end up, they end up looking haggard in some ways, like I do. I can't lie. A lot of people think that I look young, but if you'd have seen me when I was younger, you'd understand, this isn't young. This isn't young and this isn't pretty. I've been very, very pretty and I've been very, very young. But it makes you look haggard in the face. It changes your appearance. A lot of targeted individual women in particular have been noting how gang stalking has changed their appearance. All of this is deliberate. All of this is deliberate, right? The thing is that when you are, this is the thing, this is the most crucial thing about this cholesterol increase. Sleep is the most important part of this. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, you're just saying that because you have a bad diet. No, no, this is the thing, right? A lot of the times I have been eating badly because I am trying to create enough inflammation in my body to get to sleep. That is how bad it is. When you are being constantly bombarded with noise pollution and with constant taunts and constant psychological warfare. And then on top of that, you've got remote weaponry being fired on your heart, being fired on your head, being fired on all kinds of organs in your body. That also increases your cholesterol. That also spikes your cholesterol up. I've just looked online and I've seen that a lot of targeted individuals have PTSD and complex PTSD. Both of those things can increase sleep apnea and it can increase your cholesterol as well. So the hypervigilance, the constant stress that you are put under as a result of gang stalking, this can cause your cholesterol to go up. And then on top of that, when it comes to healthy eating, that one of the reasons why I hadn't been eating healthy, first off, was because I'd been in between homes. Gang stalking deliberately disrupts your home environment so that you're moving place to place. Second thing is that my food's already been contaminated. So to pre-package and pre-prepare healthy meals is a difficult thing for me to do. It's a difficult thing for me to trust, at least, because my food and my water have been contaminated before. So preparing healthy meals every week, which, you know, people should be doing, which I should be doing, is very difficult for me to trust because my food has already been contaminated. Plus, when it comes to me going out, I can't go out without preparing my environment and without, like, you know, taking certain things with me so I don't go out as much as I want to. Or as, you know, I don't even go out as much as I want to, let alone go out as much as I should do. And all of these things add up. All of these things pile up. All of these things have an effect on your health and have an effect on your cholesterol levels. And then we got to get into the stress of constant microaggressions, constant disrespect, constant administrative errors, financial abuse, constant moves, because apparently there are 3 major stress factors in one's life: the death of a family member, moving from place to place, which both me and like my family on my mum's side have been doing quite frequently. And yeah, stress levels from that. And breakups, luckily, haven't been through very many of those. Very, very lucky to say that. So the third is breakups, or if not breakups, then definitely relationship abuse or isolation, because skin starvation is a real thing as well. And that could also contribute to stress, which can also compromise your immune system and lead to higher cholesterol. So all of these things from gang stalking add up. Let's not forget the dehydration of the body and the effects that can have on the body. That can also indirectly contribute to your cholesterol going up and to sleep apnea, all of which create heart problems, blood clot problems, and blood sugar problems. Do you understand what I mean? I've had low blood sugar in my life. Like, at the most stressful point in my gang stalking, which is when I was living with Amal Mohammed, who was one of my gang stalkers, right? Like, my blood pressure was in the fucking floor. And I would be shaking if I hadn't eaten anything. That's another reason why I eat late sometimes. Because when I wake up, I get the shakes. So stress can also contribute to really low blood sugar levels and blood sugar issues, right? My blood sugar has been in the fucking floor. And you notice that I'm on here talking about my cholesterol right now. I'm not talking about my sugar levels. If I had a blood sugar level problem, they would tell me. They would have to tell me, right? So all the stress over the years has contributed to a spike in my cholesterol. All of it. And again, we also have to contribute racism as a factor. We have to contribute sexism as a factor. Now, a lot of women are living longer than men. A lot of women eat healthier than I do, have healthier lifestyles than me. So I can't deny all that, right? But racism, sexism, homophobia, queerphobia, they're not guaranteed factors of shortened life expectancy, but it contributes enough to shorter life expectancy where it's a problem. Black women, for example, supposedly get menopause a year earlier because of the stress of racism, because of the stress of misogynoir, right? And then on top of that, a dysfunctional family environment like the one I grew up in, and I'm not being funny, I got the nicer version of that dysfunction. I got the nicer version of it, especially from my dad's side. I got the nicer version of it. Family dysfunction, whooping the shit out of your kids when they are children, that contributes to your stress levels being all over the place. That creates CPTSD, that creates PTSD. You can go ahead and say whatever you want about like all of that. CPTSD and PTSD can begin from your childhood and the kind of childhood environment you grew up around. That can lead you to becoming 3 times as likely to have heart issues than you were if you didn't have any child abuse in your life. And a lot of households, a lot of working class households, not just black households, not just brown households, not just immigrant households, working class households have a lot of fucking stress in it. All of that adds up. And then on top of that, the gang stalking on top of that as well, gang stalking on top of that, at least one of my family members have died from cancer. Like, until, I don't know, I can't say for sure whether or not people from Jamaica had cancer, but the way that black people had suffered from cancer when they landed in this country, I refuse to believe that it's just a circumstantial thing, given that black families were spied on the second they landed here, even though a lot of black families were invited here, still spied on. So everything that I'm talking about, the sleep deprivation from constant noise pollution, or from, trying to startle you or trying to scare you or trying to humiliate you, contamination of food, leaving you unsure as to how you're going to create healthy prep meals, all of that contributes to higher cholesterol. Higher cholesterol contributes to strokes, heart attacks, and blood clots. I said to all of you that the perps were killing me. They're not trying to kill me. They're killing me. But this is the thing, right? As targeted individuals, the perps are killing you, yes, but there's a reason why they're dragging it out rather than just like straight up killing you. If they wanted to straight up kill you, they could do it within a matter of a few days. They do not have to drag it out like this. They really don't. It's a matter of not only killing your body, but also killing your spirit. Sleep apnea, all of that is humiliating. All of that is isolating. Sleep apnea is isolating. I've been around people who snore, and I'm not going to lie, there was one particular person who didn't mean to fucking snore that loudly, but I felt murderous by the time because I was sleeping with them in a hostel, they had sleep apnea. This person couldn't help it. They had sleep apnea, right? But their snores were so loud, it was just literally like I felt murderous. That's how bad it was, okay? So I know secondhand how isolating sleep apnea actually is. That's another form of isolation, right? The hypervigilance that comes with CPTSD, another form of isolation. Like, isolation in the first place causes stress, and then stress creates isolation again. And all of these things have a knock-on effect and have an effect on your cholesterol as well. So it's a vicious cycle that gang stalkers and perps continuously perpetuate, not only to kill your body, but to kill your spirit. And again, this is genocide. Because remember, there are a lot more black people dying earlier from heart disease and stroke and all that type of stuff. And if we're not being killed off by the stress of systemic racism, we're being killed off through medical racism. We're being murdered through nil by mouth. And again, it's not just black people going through it. So I'm black, so I've got to talk about it. Racism, all of that contributes. All of that contributes. I keep telling you people, I keep telling everybody, gang stalking is eugenicist. Brown people, you're in this too. Maybe the brutality is not as harsh when it comes to you, but racism against brown people, it contributes to a lower quality of health. Where brown people have got a little bit of an edge though, is that, like, you know, depending on the culture, the diet tends to be like just a little bit healthier. That I feel like that's kind of the edge, right? That's kind of the edge they have over like us in the black community, because we like our flavor. You understand? But then again, like, brown communities have very flavorful food, very delicious food. But, you know, for example, Indian cultures, they tend to have meals that are more vegetable heavy. There's a lot of vegetarian meals in Indian food. Like, you don't need, like, and it's so delicious as well. Like, the vegetarian meals are so delicious. Like, you literally don't need to eat meat at all. You don't need to eat meat, right? So, you know, so like in certain brown communities, the diet's a little bit healthier. There are black content creators out there that create healthier versions of like Caribbean meals and African meals and things like that. But the point is the more racism you go through, is the more cholesterol you're likely to get. And it's not just due to your diet. You see, a lot of black, you know, I've talked about diet just now, but a lot of black people are having it blamed on their diet. But it's racism, medical racism, being stressed out by police officers, being stressed out by mental health. Like, all of these things are a contributing factor. All the microaggressions, all of these things are a contributing factor to decreased quality of health. And I'm black, so I'm a targeted individual, right? That's one part of it. On top of that, I'm queer as well, and there's a lot of queer phobia going around. There's always been a lot of queer phobia going around. And then on top of that, I'm a woman. Women go through a lot more stress. Women are expected to do more and put up with more. And then on top of that, me being black too. All of these things, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say gang stalking is intersectional. Because it's all these contributing factors that feed one another. Racism and gang stalking feed one another. Misogyny and gang stalking feed one another. Fucking gang stalking and queer phobia and transphobia, especially queer phobia and transphobia, feed one another, because there's a lot of anti-trans bigotry in the targeted individual community. And there's a lot of queer bigotry in the targeted individual community, let alone outside the community. So bigotry and gang stalking, bigotry and xenophobia, xenophobia and gang stalking, fucking all of these things, they feed one another, because the whole point of gang stalking is to weaponize your existence, and anything that makes you anything other than the default, a white, rich, straight passing, cisgendered male, all of these are factors that contribute to your cholesterol, that elevate your stress. And then on top of that, there's another factor that we have to talk about. All of these factors in your life, meaning that you have to hold in your anger when you're dealing with people. There was this study on Big Brother, right? Where they were doing like these studies on like all these housemates. I can't remember what season it was, but it was a season where Nikki Graham was on. and my girl Ashleen was on, and Glenn and all the rest of it. It was that season, right? And there were studies shown of stress levels, of how high stress levels were. Now, Mikey, one contestant who was on the show, his stress levels were among the highest. Now, this contestant right here, Mikey, was one of the calmer people, one of the calmer contestants of the house, who's from Liverpool, incidentally. And, you know how much stress them people go through. So he was really cool. He seemed to be really chill. I mean, I didn't get that he was chill because I got a lot of passive aggression and microaggressions from him. But he seemed to be one of the people in the house that was really calm, really chill, like really kind of kept a level head and had his shit together, right? But when you look at his stress levels in comparison to Nikki Graham's stress levels, Nikki Graham, who used to throw tantrums every other moment, rest in peace to her, sorry. When you looked at Nikki Graham's stress levels versus Mikey's stress levels, Nikki Graham's stress levels were like just a little bit above normal. Like they weren't drastically above normal, but Mikey's, who was keeping his cool most of the time, his stress levels were like up here. You understand what I mean? His stress levels were like up fucking there. Do you understand what I'm talking about? And the point that I'm trying to make is that just because somebody appears calm, it doesn't mean that their stress levels are not up. It depends on the situation. That's first of all. Second of all, the more you hold in your anger is the more it actually contributes to your stress. So as a black person who knows that your life might be more in danger than your white counterparts, when you decide to show anger, even if it's justified, you try to hold that shit in as much as possible. That contributes to your stress levels. The inability to properly get your anger out against the people that are truly abusing you, like all of this has a knock-on effect. All of this has a knock-on effect. Black boys being likely to be like stopped 5 times as much. That is not to protect black people. That is not to protect the black community. That is not to stop black on black crime. That is to stop black people from defending themselves. You've got racist white people out here basically saying that they carry around knives just in case they see a black person or just in case they see a brown person, carrying around weapons. How many white people do you think are stopped and searched? The most knife crime is apparently in Glasgow. It's not verifiable, but the most knife crime is apparently in Scotland. Scotland is way more heavy in a white population than somewhere diverse like London is. And yet it's somewhere like Glasgow that has the highest knife crime. How many white people are being stopped and searched here? It all adds up. All of it. All of it. All of it adds up. Not to mention the media's attempts to constantly use and farm black outrage and black pain, and brown outrage and brown pain. And because we're used to the world trying to farm our pain and farm our outrage, of course, when serious shit really goes down, we don't react. And that's ironically, one of the reasons why mind control doesn't work as well on black and brown people en masse as it does white people or as it does privileged people, is ironically because we've had to hold in our anger and we've become masters at holding in our anger. White people haven't had to deal with racism. They had to deal with people calling them white boy or white woman or this, that, and the third. They've had to deal with discriminative language from other people. They've had to deal with jokes about their cooking and all that type of stuff. But they haven't had to deal with racism on a systemic level where even your medical health is affected. They've never had to deal with that. White women, they deal with misogyny, right? But because they've never had to deal with stuff on the level that we've had to deal with, because we're basically, black and brown people are basically the Senecas of the world. We're used to the shit. So when shit pops up, we don't react like that. We don't react like that because we're used to the stress, right? White people are not, comparatively as a collective group. They're not used to those levels of stress. They're not used to getting a fraction of what we get in terms of being racialized, in terms of being profiled, in terms of being systemically kept down. They're not used to it on the same level we are. So when these frequency weapons are used, to foster anger in people, to foster hatred in people, white men are actually more likely to be manipulated by these weapons. Why? Because of a cross-section of privilege, externalization, and emotional repression. There's a cross-section with those three things. And also it contributes to shortened lifespan as well, but this is in a different capacity. This is more about surplus male culture causing men to egg one another on. Yeah, that's a different thing. So like, you're talking about two different types of shortening of life expectancy. So on the one hand, you've got people like me who are having their lifespan shortened, having their cholesterol elevated, having their health fucked with by, by systemic racism and being a targeted individual. Like, our life expectancy is shortened by being denied equal rights still, in smaller ways, in more ingrained ways, right? So our life expectancy is shortened by, having our human rights stripped from us in subtle ways, right? Whereas with white people and white men in particular, they're having their life expectancy shortened through the opposite, through being given everything that they need, everything that they want, but not everything that they need. They're being given an outlet to be their worst selves. So their life expectancy is shortened by that, ironically, even though it's still not on the same level as black and brown people, and especially black people. So all of this adds up. Like having to hold in your anger, having to be careful about what you do because you don't know where you will end up. All of this contributes to higher cholesterol and higher blood pressure. And I'm sorry about my community, black people, and not even just black people, brown people, working class people. You got to get fucking real. You've got to get real and stop with this. I beat the hell out of my kids shit, because it is contributing to 3 times as much heart attacks, strokes, and God knows what else. If you're overstimulated, find another way to express that shit. You don't have to beat the hell out of your kids. You don't have to humiliate your kids. You don't have to publicly make a display out of your children to get your stress out, because all you're doing is killing your offspring. You are killing, I'm going to say that again. You are killing your offspring. You are using your privilege as an adult to kill your offspring and to shorten their lifespan. You heard me? Okay. So let's just cut the crap. Let's just cut the crap. You understand? All of this adds up. And like I said, when it comes to like family dysfunction, in my family, I got the nicer end of it. Trust and believe. Well, when it comes to the sexual abuse, I definitely didn't get the nicer end of that one. But no, I have been through a lot in my life. But when I tell you, it is nothing compared to what my parents went through, nothing compared to what my grandparents went through. And that shit adds up. That shit adds up. Intergenerational trauma adds up. Have you noticed that there are, the younger people of today, They seem a bit more listless and depressed and seem to have more inertia than younger people of even my time, and go back even further, of my mum's time, of my granddad's time. Have you noticed that younger people don't seem to have as much energy lately? Yeah. It's not just environmental factors like population control. It's intergenerational stress that has built up and been put into these younger people as well. Like, again, it all adds up. And I've been saying it for years and nobody wanted to hear me though. I've been saying that shit. I've been saying that shit. Like, just literally decreasing your child's lifespan because you need to get some shit out of your system. Please. 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 That's some narcissistic bullshit. All right. Yeah. So yeah, you're shortening your child's lifespan with that shit. And can we get into not only targeted individual children, but perp children as well? How do you think having to learn about what they've been doing and what it's been contributing to, how do you think that contributes to their lifespan? And these pathetic ass perp parents saying, I'm doing this for my kids, I'm doing this for my kids. The shit that they have unleashed, thanks to you, people are more broke than they've ever been. Gangstalking contributed to that. Race tensions are high. Gangstalking contributed to that. Political tensions are high. Gangstalking contributed to that. The same people who fucking robbed this country blind and lied to the whole country, they're likely to have, like, you know, have really serious positions in government at some point. Gangstalking contributed to that. Perp children will have to live in that world that you helped create. And don't even get me started on TI children. Do you know how cute I was as a kid? Please. Stripped, all of that was stripped away from me due to the stress of gangstalking. And all this shit on my face. This wasn't just spots and acne that like, do you know how many times I've been fired on my fucking jaw? There, like, look at the patterns. Look at the, sorry. Do you know how many fucking like weapons have been fired up my jaw? Look, these are the entry points. These are the entry points and these are the exit points down here, right? Entry points, exit points. And they've been doing that shit since I was a teenager, since I was 13 years old, probably even younger than that. Entry points, exit points. Because I used to get pain right here in my jaw. Remember? There are photos of me when I went to Somerset, when I went to Devon, because again, the gang stalkers wanted to stop me from going. They used to I got a massive swelling here. It doesn't matter where the directed energy weapons fire. There has to be an entry point and an exit point. That's what all these scars on my face are. They're not just spots. They're not just spots. They're entry wounds and exit wounds. From directed energy weaponry, they're all over my body. And you're telling me like deliberate tooth pain isn't going to contribute to stress. Yeah. You're going to tell me all of these things don't contribute to stress. Every winter having my mental health hijacked by V2K and by microaggressions and by sleep deprivations and by deliberately engineered hallucinations, by fucking with my brain frequency modulation. You think all of that does not contribute to cholesterol? You think all of that doesn't contribute to your stress levels, doesn't contribute to all the heart attacks and strokes I was talking about? And then on top of that, they're firing weapons directly on your body on top of that. All of it adds up. And as for the weight gain, yeah, there's a reason. Let me get into this. A lot of you are not going to like what I'm about to say, right? But Two things. First thing is that as much as there are obese people that are very, very healthy, there are people who are born obese, people who are born fat, but their blood sugar levels are good, their cholesterol is good, their heart rate is good, their health, their overall health is good. They just have a lot of fat, right? We're not supposed to have a lot of fat on our bodies. I will admit that we're not supposed to have a lot of fat on our bodies. My weight gain, it took like several decades for me to get this big, but this is not a natural body weight for my body. I'm naturally a slim woman. I was born a slim woman, naturally slim. Cause of cause my dad's family were athletic again before the fucking gang stalking. Well, they've been gang stalked all their lives. So there's that. Like my dad was very athletic. My granddad was very athletic. We're athletic people. And when we find ourselves put in a position where we have to sit at our desk, it's like we're eating the same, but we're not exercising. And that adds up, right? But I was naturally slim, right? So all of this is not a natural state of being, but there is a reason why fat phobia exists. There is a reason why so-called ugly women get more shit than so-called ugly men, right? There is a reason for that. There is a reason why that happens. There is a reason why people get roasted for how they look. It's because abuse makes you less attractive. That's the reason. That's the reason. It's because abuse makes you less attractive. And again, I'm not saying that weight makes you unattractive, because everybody's seen photos of me. Everybody's seen full body photos. They know I'm fucking pressure, even with the extra weight. Okay. So having extra weight does not make you unattractive, but increased cortisol can cause problems with your weight. It can cause you to gain weight and lose weight. It can fuck with your metabolism. It can fuck with your skin. And that's just without the weapons, which I showed you here. That's just without the weapons. It can fuck with your skin. It can fuck with your immune system. It can cause you to look haggard. And it can create dehydration. Again, gang stalking creates dehydration. Radiation of the body, it creates dehydration. I've had hair loss due to electronic weapons as well. It all adds up, yes. But abuse in general, it affects your looks. And it especially affects a woman's looks. You see all these women walking around with no boyfriend looking sexy? Like, regardless of their body weight, have you seen all of these single women looking fucking sexy as hell? That's not a coincidence. It's because when women are with most men or give most men the time of day, men ruin their health. And that's as a result of systemic misogyny. Men ruin their health. A normal relationship with anybody, let alone a man, a normal relationship. I'm not talking about a healthy relationship. Not talking healthy. I'm talking a normal relationship has some levels of abuse in it, because people will always try to take shortcuts when it comes to taking care of one another and getting what we want out of the relationship. At a certain point, abuse will come into it in a normal relationship. And abuse is a complete detriment to your health. That's why women get more shit for being ugly, because a lot of these men know that deep down that they are the reason why women don't look the same way they're supposed to, but they don't care. They don't care about how they affect a woman's health. All they care about is what they get out of the woman. They spend more time trying to convince her to convince a woman to be with them than they do taking care of that woman. Notice how, a lot of these men don't want women who want sex just like they do. They want women who don't want it so that they can go to these women and waste their time and disrespect them and do all kinds of immature shit. All of that contributes, again, normal shit contributes to abuse in small ways. Maybe not enough to get the police involved, but normal relationships usually have shortcuts, and those shortcuts lead to abuse at some point. At some point. Argue with your mum. I don't give a fuck. Argue with your mum. And women are more likely to be subject to that kind of abuse than men. And then on top of that, we have hormonal stuff to deal with. On top of that, we've got periods, we've got perimenopause, we've got menopause, which can go on for years. On top of that, causing us to be called Karens, saying, oh, these women make us miserable. Yeah, because we won't let you be your worst selves. We won't let you get away with that. It all adds up. That's why fat women get so much shit. That's why so-called ugly women get so much shit. It's because when a woman is in a relationship with a man, or a woman is within a system of patriarchy, it does affect her looks. And what do abusers always do? They always abuse you. They cause your health to deteriorate. And then they blame your misfortune on the result of your abuse. That's what narcissists and abusers do all the time. So it's these fat women's fault, because they eat too much. No. And fat people are also being blamed for lower life expectancy. That's bullshit as well. Lower life expectancy has happened because of increased radiation in our technology. That's why the life expectancy is shortening. And on top of that, people are deliberately being killed off anyway. So what the fuck are you talking about? You're causing people, God knows how much stress and cortisol levels rising to the point where a lot of people are obese, right? Creating a system of a sedentary lifestyle. And then you want to blame fat people for shit that is systemically put in place to keep people as functioning depressives. You want to blame fat people for that. Fat people have nothing to do with shortened life expectancy. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Because at a time where life expectancy was at its highest, so was fucking obesity. So fat people have nothing to do with a lower fucking life expectancy. Stress and cortisol does. Radiation does. The radiation from our technology contribute to that. Have you ever noticed that every time you use a smartphone, you get angrier than you should? Yeah, that's not by accident. There are frequencies on our technology that are designed to affect our brains as well, keep us coming back to the apps. And when we're on the apps, our emotions are heightened while using them. With TikTok, I've noticed this as well. With TikTok, I've especially noticed this, right? That's why I don't use it that often. And that's why I'm very, very careful about what TikTok I use, because it's very strategically presses your buttons, through frequencies, to the point where if you feel really happy from a TikTok, you feel happier than you should. When you feel angry from a TikTok, you feel angrier than you should. Baby, I carefully monitor that shit. I'm telling you. All of this adds up. All of this adds up. But coming back to my original point, the reason why women who are supposedly uglier or fatter are disrespected so much is because quite often when a woman isn't looking her best, or, it's usually because of abuse and misogyny. That's usually the reason. That's what's behind fat phobia. It's basically society causing problems, causing health problems in people, and not taking responsibility for those health problems and putting the onus on the person that they've abused. That is what's behind fat phobia. That is what's behind this crusade against ugly women. Like, you know what I'm saying? How much do you think that contributes to cholesterol levels as well? Like I said, abuse is a thing where it's vicious. It's a vicious cycle, especially when the people abusing you don't take any accountability. And I believe that people should take responsibility for themselves. Yes, I do believe that. I'm not going to sit here and say that's not the case. And when it comes to my diet, I got changes to make, babes. I can't sit here and make excuses. It's not going to be easy to make those changes because I'm going to go through more physical torture as I age. I'm going to go through more financial abuse as I age. So it's not going to be an easy thing. I've got changes to make, babe. Simple as that. Personal responsibility cannot be removed from this conversation. At the same time, all these factors, social factors, familial factors, the factors of gang stalking, which weaponizes all of these things to feed and reinforce that abuse, it all counts. And what it amounts to is the desire to not only kill your body, but kill your spirit. And to kill your soul, because your soul is your bloodline. Remember, gang stalking is eugenicist. It's genocidal. And if they're trying to kill off your family line and kill off your culture, they're trying to kill off your soul. Really think about it. They're trying to kill off your soul. Think about what it means when these apparent celebrities are accused of selling their soul because when they reach a certain level, one of their family members dies. Yeah, that they're sacrificing. That's what sacrificing your soul is. That's what sacrificing your soul is. That's well, somebody in your bloodline has to go. There are a lot of people in my family who sacrificed their souls by coming after me. That's what that is. The gang stalkers, white supremacy, is aimed towards killing your soul, killing your spirit, and killing your body so that they can have a never happy, always conquering, always angry, always miserable warrior race. That's what all of this is aimed towards. That's why you've got black and brown people dropping like flies. That's why you've got working class people dropping like flies. That's why you have elders dying in record numbers. You think that shit is because of the pandemonium? Get real. Get real. And then you got children getting cancer. Like, you know, I know there's lots of carcinogens that don't have anything to do with gang stalking, but come on now. Just wake up and look the hell around. Wake up and look the hell around. I'm so sorry. Like, why are you... People are just crazy. Oh, Lord. It started off with me talking about my cholesterol and it ended up with this whole other thing of intersectionality. But intersectionality and health, like, your health is the most important thing and it's the most overlooked thing. And intersectionality, your rights as a woman, your rights as a black and brown person, your rights as a queer person, your rights as a trans person, your rights as a child. All of these things are contributing factors in a person's health. The fuck? All of these are contributing factors in a person's health. All of it. And the neurodivergence too, that the disgusting levels of like lack of empathy and lack of care when it comes to how neurodivergent people are treated. Let's add that in the mix. And let's add in the mix how mentally ill people are treated as well. Let's add that in the mix. Once again, two more forms of bigotry, ableism and discrimination against neurodivergent people. All of that also adds up. It's also fed by the gang stalking, contributing to cholesterol levels, shortening people's lifespans. Because again, gang stalking is about nothing more and nothing less than fucking eugenics. And trafficking comes under eugenics. Torture comes under eugenics. Fucking murder even, and murder through like coercing somebody into suicide or affecting their health or killing them outright. All of these things contribute to genocide. All of these things are under the umbrella of genocide and under the umbrella of eugenics. Stress levels, all of that. Eugenics, all of it. All of it. Contribute to eugenics. Sexual abuse, once again, gang stalking feeds off that. Sexual abuse feeds off gang stalking. You get it. All forms of abuse feed off each other. All forms of, abuse, trafficking, torture, murder, all of that forms under the banner of eugenics. All of it. Again, it's not just about your body, not just about your spirit, it's about your soul as well. They're killing off your bloodline, they're killing off your soul. And if they're trying to continuously create emotional dysregulation in you, they're trying to kill off your spirit. Trying to take you away from your culture indiscriminately, that's killing your spirit as well. Because you're not connected to your true egregores. And killing off the body, well, that's obvious. But creating emotional dysregulation in you through humiliation and shame, leaving you disconnected from who you are, that's killing your spirit. Killing your body, well, there it is. We've talked about that. So, yeah. In conclusion, personal responsibility cannot be overlooked, should never be overlooked. But there's at least one TI right now who has taken care of their health all their life, and they were still struck with cancer. There was one member of my family who prepared vegan meals and who ate healthy and did everything that they could to take care of themselves. They were still killed via cancer, via the electronic weapons. So personal responsibility cannot be overlooked. At least those two particular people, both of them women, at least they can say they tried. At least they can say they tried to take care of themselves. If you can say nothing else, personal responsibility allows you to say, I did everything that I could for myself to be better for myself, to show myself that I love myself, right? You can say that if you take personal responsibility. You can't say that if you don't. Because when you don't take personal responsibility and the gang stalkers are piling on you, then it means that you're doing what the gang stalkers are doing. What's the point? So personal responsibility cannot be overlooked. At the very least, it's a statement of how much you care about yourself. at the same time, if you slip and fall, like I'm going to slip and fall sometimes, if you find yourself extremely stressed out by the torture, by the DEW torture, by the fucking psychological torture, by the sleep deprivation, if you find yourself finding it hard to stay on a healthy path because of that, if you find yourself slipping, please do not give yourself shit about it. Don't give yourself a hard time about it. Just get back on the wagon as quickly as you can. Because this torture is bigger than you. It's bigger than you and your personal responsibility. Everybody should have faith. Everybody should have, like, take care of their physical body. Everybody should, do their level best to be a gift to their ancestral line. Everybody should do that. And everybody should have a good mindset. But understand that when other people are following their least line of resistance and being rewarded for it, it can make it an uphill struggle for you. Personal responsibility is not where it ends. It has never been where it ends. So if you fall off the wagon, just get the fuck back on. Don't give yourself shit. Don't make things difficult for yourself. Don't criticize yourself unfairly. If you fall off the wagon, just get the fuck back on and don't say another word about it. Because gang stalking is designed to kill every facet of you. That is what it is designed to do. That is what your personal responsibility is up against. And it's not just doing it to you, it's doing it to millions of people at the very least, from what I've heard. That's from what I've heard. There's not a verifiable number of TIs out there. But just get back on the wagon. Don't give yourself shit. Don't give yourself a whole bunch of drama, because you're doing the best you can. You're showing yourself that you love yourself fine. You're going to slip sometimes. Just keep going. Just keep going. Because again, gang stalking is a multifaceted thing that is trying to kill every specter of your being. Trying to kill every specter of your being. Finding out. And it's built on envy as well. It's built on envy and jealousy. So it's built around trying to find out what whatever aspects of you are there, like the most important aspects of you, so that they can break that. And not just unravel you, but your whole bloodline. That's what your personal responsibility is up against. Don't give yourself a hard time if you fall off the wagon. Just get the fuck back on and don't say anything more. You're not a failure. You're not a loser. I don't give a fuck what anyone says to you. I don't give a fuck. I especially don't give a fuck about what these perps have to say, because they've been losers. You want to see what being losers looks like? Look at them, not you. Don't look in the mirror for that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on the wagon, and if I fall off, I fall off. I'm just going to get back on. It's as simple as that. So yeah. Take care of yourself. Take responsibility. Take accountability for yourself. Take accountability for your behavior. Take accountability for how you treat yourself. But also understand that a lot of what you're up against is bigger than you. Because this society rewards lack of responsibility according to who and what someone is. That's what you're up against. Now, I'm going to end it here. Or should I end it here? I don't know if I should end it here. There's always something else. You see, this is the thing about me. There's always something else, man. There's always something else I've forgotten. Been licking my lips. My lips are white. I keep licking them. God damn it. Oh, fucking hell. I keep licking my lips all the time and it's creating this sort of white situation here. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. Moral of the story, people. Do not lick your lips. Just use lip balm. In fact, where the fuck is mine at? Where is mine at? Hang on. So this is the thing about my intuition, right? I always want to go and leave at some point, but then my intuition is, hang on. But then my intuition always stops me, right? And then they say, you've got more to say. You've got more to say. I think I do have more to say. This gang stalking thing, I said it would go mainstream and it has. It has gone mainstream. There's one particular thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Taylor Swift connection. And I talked about it on Empress Justice Astrology. I don't know if I should talk about it there or I should talk about it on my Marsha the Great channels. But when it comes to Taylor Swift and how I believe that there are connections between Taylor Swift and everything that's going on in the world right now. Again, she's just a piece in a puzzle, but she's an important piece. And I feel like that definitely needs to be discussed. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to discuss that, later at some point. But for now, I gotta go. Peace and blessings to everybody, and I hope you have a blessed day, my fellow TIs. Cholesterol's up. I mean, I'm getting to that age now, innit? So, peace and blessings, and I love you guys so much. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Bye-bye.